Well, those aren't eyes. We'll go for these ones. Where do we want them? Do we want them at the front of the head or at the back of the head, do you think? Or forward facing? What are we missing now still from our creature? Arms, so yeah, arms and legs. So we'll put some arms and legs on. You want more than 2 eyes? Okay, we'll have more than 2 eyes if you really insist. So this one's a teacher because it has eyes in the back. It's what we've always wanted to have. We can change its hands if we want to and give it different kinds of feet. Let's give it this kind of feet. We'll have a look, see if we can find some wings. Don't know if we've got wings. We can have a nice horn for its head. Let's spin it round, see what it looks like. Yeah? Should we try No? Okay, we'll stick with the purple then, okay. Okay, we need to give it a name too. Any suggestions for a name? Was Peter? Okay, we can also describe it and start writing in descriptions of it and give it some characteristics if we want to. I think that's we can do that later. Okay, so let's test drive it and see how it looks in its environment. So we can get it to walk over here or walk over there. Pardon? Well, let's see how it does different things. This is how it looks when it's sad. Okay, this is how it looks when it's angry. Okay, we can test out all different sorts of things like how it dances. How it punches, yeah, and we can even start seeing what its children are going to be like. Okay, and we can start moving those around too. Yeah. Speak instead of squeak. I don't know if we can actually. No, they're not that sophisticated. We can make them roar. Okay, having created them, we can also do some other nice things of them. We can actually take photographs of them. So there's my photograph that I took of them, and that becomes a postcard that then I can email to a friend. So I can start writing I can get my young learners to start writing stories about the creatures that they've created and emailing them to me or emailing them to friends and sharing them with each other. If I want to, I can also create videos, so I can record video of them. Let's just get rid of my emails. So I just click on this button, and it starts recording them. So I can recording them doing different things. Okay, and when I'm ready, I just stop. And then I can, if I want to, upload that directly to YouTube from there, or I can save it onto my computer. So, that's a way of creating sort of materials for my students. And at the end I can sort of save these into what's called the Sporopedia. So, you know, I can start collecting them in there and sort of collect and share them with the community, the spore community, and you can find other people who created them and they describe them and things like that. So that's a kind of a useful way of, let's just delete it. A useful way of using a free computer game to sort of get students enthusiastic about creating sort of different kinds of media. Should I save? No, I can't save it, sorry. That's the other reason I'm not God. I'm too ruthless, really, with my creations. So let's just click that and get out of there. So, I mean, it doesn't show up very well on this screen, but this is one of the videos that I created, and then I added some information about it, sort of a little story about Harold. This one's Harold. He's only got 1 foot, and he likes to dance, but he doesn't dance very well. So that's kind of the end product of having created the video. So then I can get my students to create some friends for Harold. In terms of kinds of activities, the kinds of activities that because we want to incorporate language learning into this, we don't just want them creating sort of creatures and writing about them's fine. We can sort of creating characters for narratives. So once they've created their own character, they can build a world around him and tell stories around him or her and things like that. The kinds of things that happen to them or the interaction between their characters and other characters really kind of stimulates the imagination. You can use them for short video projects like my Harold that I created as an example, and then they create their own and edit the video. Describing character and appearance, you know, they could describe Peter and what he looks like. You could describe Peter to them first, and they could draw the picture, then compare with the real thing. So lots of different sort of ways of stimulating ideas for teaching with them. So picture dictation, following instructions. You could instruct them about how to build. You know, you have your picture and you tell them how to build it and see how much their creature looks like yours. Comparing and contrasting and creating picture stories. I really like the one where they create their creature and then email it to friends to share them. I think that's kind of a nice activity. So that's an example of a computer game that you can use with younger learners. I mean, you still have to download it, but it's free. Something for sort of more of the teens, I won't show you this one because we're running really short on time, is a game called Power Up. And this is a game that was developed for education. And to sort of, it's a kind of an ecology game, is that students have to go into a virtual world and rescue a planet that's in ecological crisis. And they do this through interacting with characters, and they can go and ask these characters questions and the characters give them instructions. So it involves a lot of reading and writing and questioning, and they have to go to different parts of the world. They can do it collaboratively with other people online. And although it sort of develops those thinking skills and having to work out and problem solve and lots of reading, it also does involve blowing up some aliens and shooting stuff, and so that keeps them motivated. Not only do they learn English and save the world, but they can also shoot some aliens as well. Again, good for task-based reading. If they're reading well and they're understanding the instructions there, then they're progressing through the task. Their thinking skills and problem solving it carries them on a narrative, so they can tell you afterwards or tell each other what the narrative was and how they progress through the thing. Reported speech, imperatives and conditionals, those kinds of things are all the things that you can draw from these things. I'll rush through because we're way over time already, I think. I think one of the other useful things, I mean, there's a lot of buzz about the iPad and mobile learning, and I think the iPad is very useful. So there's some very useful apps for it that you can download. It's a much safer way to expose students to the internet than through a laptop computer, because most tablet devices are sort of focusing on a single task, and the way the software is designed makes it much more easy to control. This is a good one that's a kind of a pronunciation dictionary that you can download for free. There's a really nice one called Sonic Pics, where you can take pictures and then record narrative to go with them, and then export it as a little movie. So it's a very simple way of creating digital narrative based around pictures from your students' own lives or from the classroom. And you can just go around the classroom getting students to read into it with your iPad. This is something called, a nice one as well for very young learners, it's called Me Genius. And it has a collection of stories, and it actually reads the stories to the students. We'll just have a quick look at their website, because that does a similar thing. It might take a little while to load, and then I'll shut up. So actually, some teachers I've shown this to are a bit worried, because they think it will take the place of actually parents reading to their children, because you can just hand the iPad to them or your iPod Touch and it will read the story and turn the pages for your students, and you don't have to do it, but I'm not so sure. We'll give it a few minutes to load and I'll come back to that. At the end, when you download the presentation, there's a link here on this slide which is to one of those boxes that I showed you earlier, and it has a collection of other different things that can be useful for young learners. So click through to that once you download the presentation. There are 40 or 50 more different tools. I've just shown you kind of the tip of the iceberg. So if you want to go and investigate more, have a look at that. If you're worried about your technology skills and you want to get them up to speed, I've published 10 tasks for teachers, and these are kind of step-by-step tasks that you can download from the Teaching English website that show you pictures of the screen, what you have to click on, where you have to click on to make it work. Okay, so download that if you're worried, and you can start developing your own digital skills. I've also published a free book or manual called Web 2.0 Tools for Teachers, which again you can download for free. It has sort of 10 or 11 different tools, ideas for how to use them, lots of detail, lots of pictures to show you what to do to get through them. And check through my blogs at the end. There are my different blogs and the different things that I write. Everything there is free. An Irish friend of mine has an expression that goes, fill your boots. So fill your boots, you know. Go in, grab that stuff, it's all free. Good luck with it. I'll go back to Me Genius and see if we can get it to read to you. No, it's not going to. Okay. Well, I'll give up on that for now. So lots of different things that you can do with kids, with technology. None of them are magic, none of them are magic bullets. They still take some thought, they still take some work, but you know, what you put in you get out, and I think, you know, this stuff isn't going to go away, so you might as well try it now while you have the opportunity and while it's free. Okay, that's as much as I want to say. Thanks, bye-bye.
Well, thank you very, very much, Nik. And also you can watch the video of this presentation on CETA.eu and the TESOL Macedonia-Thrace website. And also on CETA you can find a course that Nik has done for us, and it's also free, of course. Okay, and it's a wonderful course on Web 2.0.